Good evening and welcome to Equal Ground Headlines for March 19, 2025. I am your host, Samuel B. Williams. In a significant escalation of the ongoing conflict, Israel has launched a ground operation in the Gaza Strip, marking the first such action since the recent ceasefire ended. The Israeli Defense Forces, IDF, have successfully retaken the Netzarim Corridor, a strategic area that effectively divides the northern and southern regions of Gaza. The Netzarim Corridor holds substantial strategic importance as it bisects the Gaza Strip, allowing for control over movement between the northern and southern areas. By securing this corridor, the IDF aims to isolate Hamas forces operating in the north from those in the south, thereby disrupting their operational capabilities. This military action follows a series of Israeli airstrikes that resulted in significant casualties. According to reports from the Hamas-run Health Ministry, over 400 individuals were killed in these airstrikes. The escalation occurred after Hamas rejected a U.S.-backed truce proposal, leading Israel to intensify its military operations. In response to the renewed hostilities, Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz issued a stern warning to Gaza residents, advising them to evacuate combat zones. He emphasized that the recent airstrikes were merely the initial phase of a broader campaign aimed at dismantling Hamas's infrastructure and leadership. Katz specifically mentioned targeting Mohammed Sinwar, the brother of the slain Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar, underscoring Israel's commitment to neutralizing key figures within the organization. The resumption of ground operations has raised significant humanitarian concerns, particularly for the thousands of refugees in northern Gaza who had returned to their homes during the ceasefire. The renewed conflict threatens to displace these individuals once again, exacerbating an already dire humanitarian situation. Additionally, the fate of the 59 hostages still held by Hamas remains precarious, with their families expressing deep anxiety over their safety amid the escalating violence. New York Post. Domestically, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is facing substantial backlash for his decision to resume military operation. Tens of thousands of Israelis have taken to the streets in cities like Tel Aviv and Jerusalem, protesting the government's actions and expressing concerns over the potential risks to the remaining hostages. Critics argue that Netanyahu's decision to return to war may be politically motivated, aiming to regain support from the far-right factions within his coalition. Internationally, the renewed violence has drawn widespread condemnation. A United Nations staff member was reportedly killed in an Israeli airstrike on the UN headquarters in Gaza City, an incident that has further strained relations between Israel and international organizations. The UN has accused Israel of knowingly targeting a facility that was serving as a shelter for refugees, a claim that Israel disputes, stating that the strike targeted a Hamas military site. New York Post. The conflict, which began with a Hamas-led attack on southern Israel in October 2023, has resulted in over 49,000 Palestinian deaths, according to health authorities in Gaza. The protracted violence has caused extensive destruction and a humanitarian crisis, with shortages of essential supplies such as food, water, and medical aid. As the situation continues to evolve, the international community is urging both parties to exercise restraint and return to negotiation. The prospects for a renewed ceasefire remain uncertain, with both sides trading blame for the collapse of the previous truce. The coming days are likely to be critical in determining the trajectory of this deeply entrenched and devastating conflict. Gaza.